Uh-oh.
See,
Well, it's not streaming to YouTube.
what? That makes no sense.
Says we're having trouble streaming to your destination. Is it possible the stream was ended or deleted on the destination?
That's for the show for the Facebook group. So it's not going to the Facebook group.
Okay, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Okay. Not sure why it did it last time. It's set up the same way.
I'm going to remove. Yeah, that's what it is. I'm just removing that.
Okay. Sounds good.
I love my little fishes as they swim about their home. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home. When the sunlight shines upon them and their colors begin to glow, I am drawn into a world where my heart longs to go. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home. I have traveled the world over, but never found a peace that comes from watching my fishes as they swim about their home. My heart is happy and I am content to sit and watch them swim. I will not be alone while these fishies are in my home. When the sunlight shines upon them and their colors begin to glow, I am drawn into a world where my heart longs to go. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home.
Hello.
Hey, Father Fish.
Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Ryan.
Nice to see you guys.
It's nice to see y'all too.
Yes. Well, we have great news today, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
This is the biggest news we've had since we had 100,000 views, I guess, on YouTube. That was a 5-year struggle. This has been at least a 2-year struggle. But we have done it, and we've invited Ryan to join us and a whole bunch of other people who are too chicken to come up. Sean,
You never know, they might come up.
I shouldn't say chicken. I should say Sean.
Oh, there's 100 synonyms for it, you know. I've got them all ready to go whenever you're ready.
We have published our great, magnificent tome on the Natural Aquarium. Tommy Denda is with us. He's in the chat. And this really started with him. He wanted to do something 5 years ago. Honestly, 5 years ago. When I started on YouTube, he discovered me and he wanted to do something. He came up with a book that was written in the 1800s by a Dutch gardener. He was actually the top gardener in the government. He ran some government facilities big major gardens, but did a book on aquariums, planted aquariums in like 1850 or something.
Wow.
And we talked about it and thought about doing something, and it kind of never happened. And then 2 years later, he decided we needed a book about the natural aquarium. So he began putting it together. He put a team together and began collecting articles. We have the history of his work in the Discord on a separate server that has 100 categories of types of articles and organizational structural sections and just everything imaginable, where he spent literally years collecting data, putting it together, and eventually got some more writers on board. Maeve came on board in that early time frame and was one of the really critical writers for it.
And Maeve said that she's here in spirit.
Maeve is on Discord with us in
Mhm.
text, so Dina is going to be reading all of her text. She does not own a microphone, so she can't talk to us.
Mhm.
But she's both in the live and is on Discord. So as she types something that's a part of the conversation, Dana will speak for her.
Mhm.
And then what began to actually pull it all together was when Ryan came on board. I know. And he has
Uh,
what Ryan has done, he has been the puzzle master. He took a box full of 10,000 pieces of puzzle and has put them all together without a picture to go by.
That takes skill.
It has been utterly remarkable seeing that happen day after day, month after month, literally for how long you been at it, Ryan?
just over a year.
Just over a year. But that's been every day, literally every day. And you are a full-time teacher.
Yep.
Oh wow.
Teach high school, is that right?
Yep. High school biology, AP environmental science. Shout out to all the students, past and present.
Wonderful. And where are you located?
Good old sunny San Diego, California.
Out in Cali. My goodness.
Yep.
So we are coast to coast this
Yeah.
evening. Coast to coast and north to south.
And you also got the full-time father in there too. If it's the kiddo in the background there.
Oh wow.
Right. That's your son.
Daughter.
Oh, your daughter. Okay.
Yeah. She's got a little bit of pink on it this time.
She's
Her mother
beautiful.
doesn't dress her in it much.
Nice.
Maeve said, I'm flattered. The work Ryan has done is incredible, as was the pace of it.
Oh, it's really been remarkable.
Mhm.
And I think what folks are going to find when they get into this is what an absolutely remarkable piece of work it is. There's nothing out there that comes even close to being as thorough, as diversified, while remaining on topic, as valuable a tool both for the scientist and for the hobbyist and as useful as it will be for people who just want to learn how to set up a natural aquarium.
Mhm.
It is utterly remarkable. Explain, Ryan, what the value of it being an ebook is.
Well, uh, real quick, just gonna do a couple more shout outs on some folks that also were in there too. That while they weren't like necessarily authors and stuff, we gotta put in the credit. Um, real big thanks to Deborah. Real big thanks to Felicia. Our super editors. Uh, having like three or four different people's writing in a thing, it kind of gets a little weird, especially when like one section's butt up against another section. So Deborah really put in a lot of time and effort on making sure that it all pretty much had one voice. And then after that, we had Felicia come in and do all the grammar ticks and stuff where it's like, oh, you need a comma here, get rid of that comma, all these things. Your dashes aren't all the same. How dare you? So fun things like that. But yeah, the ebook thing, man, that is it really is something because I honestly hadn't had any ebooks or anything prior. I just I've got all my wonderful things like here we go, we got a copy of the Encyclopedia of Tropical Fishes, that big old thing, right?
Oh wow.
Axelrod on that, and then I got things like limnology or whatever sitting around here. Um, but with the ebook, it's such an interesting thing because you can bring in all the usual technology things that we're used to nowadays, where you've got lovely links that'll just take you places. And in this case, for the book, like if there was a citation, like hey, Wetzel said this, and you can just go ahead and you can click on Wetzel's name, and it takes you right to the reference section, and then you can see exactly what the paper was or book or whatever it was that was cited, and then you can just click on their name and it'll take you right back to where they were. And so you can use it in both ways. They're reciprocal in such a way. So it's really a huge advantage. And then we've also got a bunch of external hyperlinks and stuff. Most of those are towards the end, where it's like, hey, if you're looking for iNaturalist or something because you wanted to go see like if there's any alder around your area, so you can go get some alder cones off the ground or something like that. That would be a thing that you could do. Some of our best fish sellers and of course the Father Fish store is linked in multiple places and stuff too. But yeah, it brings in the harnessing of the word ebook.
That's so exciting.
Mhm.
Let me get a spectacle.
That's one of the things I like about the ebook is you can click on the hyperlinks and just go straight to it. You don't have to actually type anything in.
Yeah, yeah, it's super for having on your phone, for instance. Like
Hmm.
I I could just preview everything here on my PC, but having it on my phone at any point in time, be like, oh yeah, I'm sitting here, I'm helping out somebody on the shoal or something, and I can't remember what did that type of algae like, and then boom, I just hit over to my algae table, like okay, that algae likes these conditions, and oh, here's some things that eat it, here's some mechanical things you could do with your tank, and boom, you're just ready to go. And you could do the same thing with if you were at the fish shop or something like that, you just pull it up on your phone and there was a particular tank that you really liked, and you can go right to the list that the owner has listed all of their plants, their animals in it. You'd be like, hey, shopkeep, what do you have? Do you have one of these? I need one of these right here. And boom, you can make it happen.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the Albert Blair in the background. I don't know what Albert would like to add to this, but hi, Albert.
Hey, Albert.
Hi guys, hi Father Fish.
Hi.
I just joined today.
Okay. What would you like to add to this conversation?
Nothing yet.
Okay. Have you looked at the book yet? You haven't looked at the book yet.
Oh no,
Okay.
not yet.
All right. Well, welcome. Nice to have you with us.
Well, thank you.
We're promoting our book for the first time. It just came out in the last 24 hours. So we're enormously excited about it. So hang in there. We'll get back to you and take a look at your aquarium a little later on.
Yeah, it kind of darkened out.
All right.
Um, yeah, it's pretty much nighttime here right now.
Yeah. Thanks for popping in. We'll talk to you later.
Oh, if y'all need a drinking game tonight, just every time I touch my mustache, all right? I got some water going on.
I'll need more coffee.
I'm drinking one of these. What is this?
Oh,
Celsius
Celsius, I know it off the bat there. Yep.
H5, yeah.
Kids in classrooms everywhere are pounding that stuff. I had one girl who drank so many she said she could feel her eyeballs.
Okay, that's funny.
Yep.
Well, I think we've sold 20 copies so far. We went up much of the day. We eventually we will do a hardback, but I warn you, the hardback is going to be impenetrable. It's 500 pages. That's a 3-inch book.
Do not drop it on your foot.
If it's a standard size book, it's 3 inches thick. If it's a big tabletop, it's going to be about 2 inches thick. And it will be enormously expensive to publish because it is filled with photographs, plates. How many pages is that?
It's 562 right there on a.
Wow.
I forget the dimensions. I could probably measure them.
How many? I didn't.
562. We're at 9.5 by 7.5 on that book size. So I don't know. Maybe it'll end up like that. We'll see what
But
ends up coming.
That's thin paper. We're not going to
Yeah.
be able to publish this on thin paper.
Mm-mm.
There are too many photographs. It's got to be on gloss,
Yeah.
which is twice as thick, at least. And my hunch is we're not going to get to it unless a publisher picks us up. We're not going to get to it for a good while. Mainly because the ebook is frankly more valuable. It's more helpful. It's going to be more useful for people because this is not the sort of book you read cover to cover. It's more like an encyclopedia. It's a compendium of many different articles. There is a flow to it, but it's the sort of thing you jump around in based on your interest and what you're trying to achieve at the moment. In other words, it's really a resource, and it's put together just that way for just that purpose, to be a long-range resource that can be used at every stage of an aquarium's life or every type of natural aquarium. So that if you want to know what kind of leaves to use, there is an extensive section on tree leaves. What kind of biology you have in the tank or want to develop in the tank. What the composition of the soil should be. What kind of sickness a given fish has. It goes on, but it's all focused on the natural aquarium. So it's not an attempt to do something that's going to answer all questions for everyone. It's not like that. It's not an encyclopedia of every kind of fish, or for that matter, of every kind of plant, although lots are covered. It is rather a detailed description of every aspect of a natural aquarium.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we had to hold ourselves back on because Man, we could have had every type of fish. We could have had every type of plant. No, I keep telling Tommy. Tommy's our cheerleader for the whole thing. He's like, we need this, let's do it. I'm like, Tommy, what's the book about? Is it a book about fish? Because if it is, let me just cram all of that Axelrod right in there. Is it a book about plants? Because I can go grab a botanist, but no, it's about the whole picture there. And yeah, we've got like a whole bunch of these things, but yeah, it's not gonna have every time.
I think
Uh-oh,
we lost him.
I did that.
Uh-oh.
I had him up twice.
Oh,
Ryan, come on back up. I'm sorry. That was my fault. I
it's
did.
easy to do.
I had them up twice and I decided to clean it up and didn't realize they were linked.
Yeah.
Does he have the link?
There he is.
Sorry,
No,
sorry about that.
I got my screen shared if whenever we want to jump into that kind of stuff.
That's what it was. Okay. Oh, right.
Yeah.
So what do we have here?
Yeah, here we go. So like here's one of the more useful things. For instance, let's say you've got one of our common questions that we see every day on the shoal. You can just go ahead and like, hey, what kind of sand can I use? And then boom, you hit it, and it takes you right to that section. Hey,
That's
here's
awesome.
the kind of sand you can use. And then if you want to go right back, you just hit it again, and hey, you're right back. So yeah, that's some of the amazing things. I suppose I could show off some of our lovely different types of trees here. I know we've looked at, is it the white oak, for instance? And your mileage will vary on the actual formatting because it is what's known as a reflowable book. So that means that you, the reader, you get to change whatever you want about it. Like if you wanted to change the font that it's in, great, change the font that it's in. If you want to change the text size, go right ahead. Like every time I see Tommy showing me his pictures of it, the text takes up like majority of the screen there. See you, Tommy. And yeah, there's all sorts of wonderful things. Like, hey, if you want to point me to something right now, we can go take a look.
Oh, how about how about disease? What do you have in disease?
All
I
right.
was a little surprised, frankly, to find that in there.
Yeah, we got made a huge table here, and the table has a whole bunch of the different diseases that are common. It's got some of the symptoms, so you can try and figure out what's going on there. And then it's got different treatments and such as well. And we've even got cool things like how do you dose your medicine, or how can you prepare for somebody to help you diagnose what your problem is if you need, like, you should get, all your parameters and stuff in order, make sure that isn't a thing. We got, of course, your favorite thing. We can control disease with temperature, right? So here we are talking about ick and things like that. And like I said, with all the citations as well, like here's my four different citations for controlling ick with temperature. It's a thing, all right? We got plenty of people out there backing it. I can just click that link, and then it'll take me to my reference section here, and I can see like, oh yeah, here we go. Ichthyo, blah blah blah. I can't Latin right now. That thing, it's there, and we can go ahead and we can see what that study is, and if you wanted to go look up more, you could, and then you can again click the link, and it goes right back there for you. Talks all about all your disease treatments and stuff.
That's amazing.
So, what are some of the other categories or chapters? Actually, how many chapters are there?
Let's take a look at our main chapters here.
End with.
We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 14 lovely main chapters there. And then an appendix chock full of stuff. And by the way, the aquascaping section, if you thought there was a lot of pictures in the main, there's twice as many in aquascaping. Tisha has just done an amazing thing. Let me go ahead and show off a few of these, I suppose. Like she's got some planting schemes here. So she talks about how to set it up. She talks about things like mapping out what it is that you're going to do, and knowing the dimensions of your tank and things like that. So those are all cool as well.
That is
That-
really cool.
that's a book in and of itself. Isn't
Oh,
it?
it
Right?
really is. She spent a lot of time and effort on it. She did all the illustrations herself. The only thing I did was just convert them from one format to another because we needed to have a standardized image size and stuff.
Yeah, that's real. I don't know anyone who's done anything quite as extensive in that area as she has done. You know, as I looked at this, one of the things that strikes me about it, and I haven't mentioned this before, but it's been in the back of my mind for a long time. I think I think we could actually publish a series of golden books, a series of pamphlets that would be the chapters in the book. There's so many sections that can stand that are well enough developed that they really could stand alone as a separate publication, and that's a good example of one.
Yeah, and that was originally going to be an idea until we, finally got the locomotive going full steam ahead. Like there was going to be that release of just like the leaves and
Glad
stuff.
that we talked about that. That's
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
Yeah, chapter by chapter.
And yeah, we got so many pictures. Um, oh yes, of course we got to mention our cover here. Forget how to get back to that. Oh well. We got a wonderful cover photo. Oh, there we go. Yep, you got it. Preloaded, ready to go. So, man, that cover photo right there, we got to talk about that because Tommy and Patrick, they had so many different photo shoots and like 50 million different ways to tweak that thing just to get that beautiful shot right there of one of Patrick's tanks. And it's too bad that Bashful Brit's not here on stream with us. Yeah, we got the Bashful Brit, the Shy Scott, the Demure Dane, and we could throw them all under the bus. All right, but no, they worked super hard, and that's why, of course, we've got everybody's names nice and centered right there,
Right.
and none of this works without any of us, kind of thing. Like we all brought something to the table. In fact, Patrick, man, he's got some stunning photos. I'm gonna like go and rummage around and try and find this one that he had of a lakefront in Scotland. He took a bunch of pictures. I've just got to figure out where it is. Ugh, I don't quite remember. I've done a little too much in this book to even remember what's going on anymore. Oh, you know what? It's probably in Leaf Litter. Of course it is. Collecting wood. Next page. Yeah, there we go. Like there's one of his awesome shots right there. I'm just gonna open that up in another. Of course, that doesn't work. But yeah, you can open them up pretty easily on your mobile devices and stuff. If you click on the picture, it'll give you the big size, and you can do zooming in and zooming out and whatever. But yeah, I thought that was one of his most awesome shots. He's got this huge contrast going on between earth and sky and wood, and yeah, it's pretty neat.
Yeah, that is a nice shot.
And then, of course, if you're one of the folks that contributed, we've got everything nice and cited in there. So yeah, Patrick Marshall. And then if you want, you could even go and contact him. Go down to the authors section here, and we've all got our different little pages in the authorship section, and there it is, his email. You can hit on that, and it'll pull up whatever your default email program is, and you can say, "Hey Patrick, come take pictures of my wedding or something, my fish wedding."
I did want to mention something. If you'll notice at the bottom of the page, these authors and other creators, my name is not there. I did not write more than a few pages in this book. I wrote an introduction, and a few other paragraphs are kind of sprinkled through it in places where it's not obvious, and one or two where is obvious. But this is not my work. This is independent work done by a group of people who have been committed to the process of really trying to get at what the natural aquarium is all about. They have lent it a credibility that I have struggled to create, and have done so in a way that, frankly, I'm deeply honored by. It's just it's just utterly remarkable what's been produced here,
That it is.
and is a legacy for an awful lot of people who have worked really hard to demonstrate that this is something more than than Father Fish. This is something that goes to the heart of what an aquarium really can be, and perhaps really ought to be. Let me get back to your.
Oh, that's your foreword right there that you wrote. Picked out the best picture of you too.
Yeah, I like that picture. That's a great picture.
But yeah, I mean, it really was an independent kind of thing. Good old FF here, he'd pop in every once in a while when we had a question for him, like, "Hey, what do you think about this?" or "What do you think about that?" And it's not like we were all sitting on the dole here doing whatever he wanted or directed. We just kind of went off, and we had a list of things that Tommy had put together prior to my arrival, and that just ended up being a lovely checklist. And then there was always a bunch of other little things that he kept adding in along the way.
Up until about a week ago,
Yeah.
and probably today.
hmm
I'm sure there's something you'd like to add to.
There's always something more. Oh man, the worst was the bug fixes that I was doing for like 3 days prior, because we really did push the limits of everything that was going on in the software in this book. Like, we started off on Google, for instance, because it was pretty easy to like share things on a single document.
Right.
And then we moved over to OneDrive and Word, because essentially you needed a lovely docx, and that had to have certain formatting and stuff to it too. So okay, everything gets to get rehashed in there. And then we pulled everything out and fed it through Grammarly and fed it through Words editor and everything like that, and then put it all back in. And then once we hit that point, like, the text was pretty much done. But then once you start throwing in all the pictures, the file size just balloons. The Word software could not handle it online anymore, so I had to download it and start working on it on the desktop kind of thing. And then after that, it gets fed into an EPUB software, which takes the docx and throws it into the EPUB. And even that was struggling with things. Like, I swear that, like, I had everything just perfect. Like, the formatting was great. And then for some reason, it's like, oh yeah, we're going to make half of these dark blue and half these light blue. I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? And so that's what I was doing. I was losing my friggin' mind for like 4 days before this thing came out, because it's like, we're done. Why is it not? What? No. Looking up all sorts of different scripts that could help me, all sorts of little tweaks everywhere. I even like redid some sections, but then it went and it like bugged them out in a completely different way. And so you guys literally have the best of what could possibly be delivered based on technical limitations. And I'm so done with that software.
We did a great job.
Okay, I got that off my chest. Ran over.
I see a number of comments of people asking, is it going to be on Amazon? Are you going to do a hard copy? Those kinds of things. I think what you'll discover is that we've done something that is standalone, that cannot be adequately handled on Amazon, will be not nearly as effective in hardback. This is an extraordinarily sophisticated piece of work, much more so than anyone even expected it was going to be. So the question, are we going to do a hardback? Probably, but it's going to be a long time before that happens. We'll be promoting this and teaching with it and using it in a variety of ways. We probably will set up a course on Patreon using the book as the foundation for the course. We may very well begin publishing smaller portions of the book as booklets, if you will. There are a lot of options we've got here that we're going to be looking at before we take any next step, like publishing a book. The only exception to that might be if a publisher comes along and gives us $100,000 advance, puts enough money in our pockets to make it worthwhile. Then we might consider letting someone publish it hardback. But my hunch is we want to hold on to this. We want it to be ours. We want it to be something that we can work with, that we can use, that we can develop and provide to the community in a way that is really will exemplify the efforts of all the people who are involved. So don't look for a hardback copy anytime soon, because it ain't gonna happen. And you would not read it if it did. This is far more accessible, far more usable, far more reader friendly than any hardback book possibly could be. Spend $29 and get it, and begin going through it, and you'll discover soon enough how remarkably valuable a tool this is going to be in your hobby. Aquafunk is here. Hey, Funk. Who else is here? Bird, Stamp, Pittman. Let's see, Adam. I noticed Adam was here earlier. I don't know if he's still here.
Yeah, I believe he is. I think he just hasn't posted in a little while.
He got a copy early on, day one. He was one of the first people who got the copy. And
Hey, that's awesome.
I chatted with him a little bit about it. Do you want to come up and say a few words about what you've discovered so far, Adam?
That'd be great if you can.
What is that we're looking at, Ryan?
Oh, I'm just flipping through the appendix right now. So we've got the measurements that you would need for substrate and whatever your tank is. We took some of the ones from the Discord bot and threw that same information in here. And again, it's going to look completely different on whatever device you're on. Right now, I'm on a very wide screen, and so the image is leaving a lot of space compared to if you were on a very small screen like your phone. And we got all sorts of listings for plants and such. But yeah, I'm kind of just flipping through and showing off little things as I go here. Even got a lovely little epilogue from Father Fish here. Oh, I went past it. There we go.
What happened? Oh, I keep pushing buttons.
Ooh, it's the best way to figure out how things work.
That's true.
But then I
Oh.
always freak out.
I have to tell my parents that. They're like, how do you do this thing? Like, I don't know. I don't have an iPhone. Just push buttons till it works. Or Google it.
Let me see if I can read this. We've reached the end of the book portion. However, there's still valuable knowledge assembled for you. The aquascaping appendix, glossary, YouTube directory, and useful links. Where does the story go from here? That's up to you. You'll get to experience the maturation of your aquarium to a climax community of plants, animals, and other living things. This does not come quickly, but much like raising children, it seemingly passed by you already. So take plenty of photos and share your experiences with us. One of the most incredible things about the hobby is the community. Seek out your local fish club or find a natural aquarium community online and share your experiences and love of the hobby with others. Consider joining Father Fish Shoal online. Thousands of natural aquarium enthusiasts are there for the sharing. Yeah, that's well done. I didn't write that. Did you write that? Who wrote that?
I don't actually remember. I'm really bad at remembering anything. But you did write the next part, the generational aquarium, but
right.
Yeah.
Oh, that was somewhere inside the book. You pulled it. That's a good place for it. Right at the end, right. An aquarium over a few years old. More than a few years old. I'm editing my writing here. It's already undergone a series of changes. May have been rebuilt with different decor, had new plants and fish, likely has had a variety of food and supplements. In other words, it's changed. Yeah, that's and that's really the value of the book, I think. It like the aquarium, it's something that will be of value and benefit as you live with your aquarium. I think one of the, I don't know if it was written there or not, but one of the challenges that I threw down to everyone was to create a small enough aquarium that you can carry it with you throughout your life. So wherever you move, you'll be able to take maybe a 10-gallon, a 20. Mm-hmm. Doesn't have to be anything big. A 29-gallon kind of tops. And keep it going. I have one 22 years old. I wish I had one 50 years old. I had aquariums from my childhood that I wish I still had. But if you do that, you will experience so many changes in that aquarium, so many things that you'll remember, and you could, by taking pictures or videos, it helps you to recall the life of that tank. Mm-hmm. Do that, and you'll experience and be able to share a joy that most people never even consider the possibility of knowing.
Yeah, and really the ultimate part of the book that is its heart is that it's just a love affair with nature. You're sitting here and you love biodiversity, you love going out and finding things and checking out the stream here or there. Like one of my favorite things to do when it was time to get some res jars and stuff going was I just went on to my local Google Maps here and did the satellite view and was looking for every little body of water I could find. And in Southern California, there's not really any natural ones left. They're all aqua. Geez, I can't even words right now. Reservoirs. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. I wanted to say aqueducts because that's what I was teaching the kids not too long ago. The Ogallala Aqueduct. Not aquifer, not aqueduct. Anyways, I can't words. So yeah, just reservoirs everywhere, and even the reservoirs have plenty of stuff in them too. Like the day I went, there was just boatloads of bullfrog tadpoles everywhere. Came back and my water sample had dragonfly nymphs, and it's just fun going out and exploring and seeing what's going on in all of these places.
Jacques Zecker says, which app is the best for opening the ebook file? Word is having a problem with it.
Yeah, Word's not going to do you there. Word would be for a regular text file. When it comes to the EPUB, there's so many different things going on. Like the one you're seeing on screen right now is EPUB Pup, and that's if you're going to do it on your PC. It's a Chrome extension that you can download. On your phone, if you're using an iPhone or an Android, you can just go on to the Play Store if it's Android, or whatever the Apple Store is. I haven't been on an Apple phone in a long time. And you can simply search for whatever. You just search EPUB, and boom, you've got all sorts of lovely little EPUB apps. And of course, you can't see it because I've got this background thing going on. But couple of our favorites are ReadEra and EPUB Reader for all books, kind of thing. And both of those are great. They'll pull it up. They have their own pluses and minuses. Every app's going to be a little bit different, but again, since it's a reflowable, it will change based on what app you're using. Like I know, for instance, just between ReadEra and EPUB Reader, ReadEra it's really intuitive as far as how it works, but then EPUB Reader is really good because for some reason ReadEra doesn't put my tables in color, but EPUB Reader will. So it's whatever you end up happen to like. In fact, we got another description here, another question. Ignorant about ebooks. If I download it on my iPhone, can I still use? Yeah, of course you could use it on your laptop. You'll just need to make sure the file is on your laptop.
Yep.
So wherever you deposit that file, you can access it.
Yeah, and in the product description on the ebook, there's several places where you can go to just download the app straight, whether you have an Apple or an Android. And there's a few helpful tips at the bottom.
Anybody want to see anything specific in the book? More than welcome to put some questions in the chat or otherwise. I won't give away all the trade secrets, but we can take a peek. I've already been thumbing through it a little bit.
Let's see, if somebody says, why do I have to use sand?
Ooh, okay. Go down to the Q&A section here. Let's see what kind of sandy things we have. Direct to your common questions. All right, sand. I think we have that up near substrate. So, sorry, what was the exact question again?
Well, why do I have to use sand?
Why would I want to use sand? Oh, let's see. Can plants really grow in sand? How do I convert it? No. What kind of sand? That's an improvement for the future. I'll make this with its own little subsections. Don't worry, those will come out eventually. Can I just use soil and cap it with sand? Also, each EPUB reader thing also has its own little way to find things in here. Some of them have search bars and stuff where you can search for just the word sand if you wanted to. I'm gonna go with this other one right here. What kind of sand? In fact, this is taking us to the reason why we want to use sand. I actually have got it right here in the same chapter. So really the big thing for why you want to use sand is there's these two things called porosity and permeability. And so if you're using gravel is obviously a pretty big particle size, right? Like you can feel it, you can roll it around like a marble or whatever. And so what it's going to do is it's going to allow lots of things to flow through it, because the gravel, even if you like pack it down, there's going to be big spaces between it. And when you get other things like sand is on a magnitude smaller, and then silt is even smaller than that, and then clay is just impossibly small. Like, you can't even see it here on the thing. It's just a tiny little dot. And the idea is that sand is like the Goldilocks zone of what you could have as your cap. Because if you were to put clay on top of it, congratulations, nothing's moving over that. You could take, some modeling clay out to your backyard or whatever and fill that thing with water, and it'll be, and then like cap it off or something, and it'll be filled with water for the next 100 years. It ain't going nowhere. Whereas with silt, again, it's still kind of a small particle here, and so things aren't going to be able to move through it as well, because it will have smaller gaps in between, which is the porosity. And then finally we get to sand, and again, Goldilocks zone, just right.
Right. And it doesn't boil back out. In
Yeah.
other words, if there's a current from a filter and you have gravel, the water is flowing through the gravel and washing everything back out. In sand, it doesn't do that. You would have, unless your gravel were 6 times deeper than the sand. If the grain of gravel is 6 times larger than the grain of sand, then the depth of gravel would have to be 6 times deeper than the sand in order to have the same level of impermeability. If you
Yeah.
get now, something else you said that was interesting. You're talking about clay. The fish farms in Florida are based on clay. There is a river that flows under the entire southern portion of Florida, about nearly 2/3 of Florida, that's 15 feet down. If you go 10 feet down, you hit clay. Water flows on top of that clay and under that clay, but those two streams never touch. So the farmers dig down 15 feet until they hit the clay. The clay is about a foot and a half deep. It's not very deep. Once they hit clay, they stop. And their pond then has water flowing through it that is the river that's flowing on top of the clay all the way from north to south in Florida. If they dig down below that, the water is flowing slowly enough that the pond will run dry. All of the water will drop through the clay if there's a hole poked into it, into the river under the clay, and the pond will go dry. Oh, there will be a trickle flowing into it, but it won't be 15 feet deep anymore. So the point you were making is that clay is not permeable, which is why, of course, it's used to make things like cups and bowls, because even when you bake it, it still is not permeable. You can line a bowl with clay, take the bowl away, and if that clay is rigid enough, pour water into it, it will not run out. The clay will retain the water. It is that dense.
That is really cool. Maeve said, we did an experiment relating to the permeability of this substrate in different compositions and conditions. One of the more noticeable results was how diatomaceous earth permeated the substrate, improved its permeability to gases.
Ah,
Yeah, and my Evs are real chemistry buff. It's so funny
Yeah.
because Tommy would ask me every so often a question, and I just throw my hands up like, I don't know, it's chemistry, it's alchemy. I have no idea what's going on here.
Maeve ran any number of experiments throughout this laboratory level experiments. I mean, technical level experiments and trials in order to demonstrate and in order to discern aspects of what we were looking at in order to get firsthand information. So, where the research did not exist in a given area, she would do the research.
That's awesome.
So, she's also our lab tech.
Yep, I even got in on it with some things. Went and did dissolved oxygen. Got a little optical dissolved oxygen probe, and we set up some things with some 2-liter containers to see, just a lot of people have fouling issues with their jars because they go down to the stream bed or whatever, and they're just like, oh yeah, leaves, I'm gonna get them all and just shove them all in the jar. And then yeah, that's not the best, because now you've just added a whole boatload of organic material that little microbes are already munching on, and they're just going to keep munching away. And the problem with these guys is that, as they're doing their munching, they're using up all the oxygen in the water. And if you're not refreshing that oxygen in any way, because you've got a little jar which has much smaller surface area, there's no wind blowing across it or anything like that, it's going to foul up real quick. So did experiments with just that kind of scenario where it's like, hey, how much is the oxygen going to come out if I add just one leaf, just 2 leaves, 35 grams worth of leaves, you know? Where does it go? And so that's in there somewhere too. I was looking for it right now, but I can't remember for the life of me where I shoved it, but it's in there.
Yeah, but that's so important too because there's so many people who fail with their resurrection jar because they put so much material in it that the little bit of water in there cannot handle the biological activity. It can't hold enough oxygen to support the life that's in it.
Yeah, so we've definitely got recommendations on how many leaves to put in there and such like that. A lot of the research is being done by aquaculture people. Um, as far as our fish go, there's not all that many folks that are out there doing research on what are called like ornamental fish, things of that nature. And so there's a lot of things that are fascinating coming out of the aquaculture industry, because of course that's the next big place, because we've overfished a little bit too much in certain places, and so what do you got to do to get more fish? Farm them.
Yeah,
So
Right.
exactly.
get all sorts of wild things. Like there was one study that they were looking at how long you could do a period of starvation on a fish, and I believe they had some catfish, and these catfish, man, they starved them for something like up to a month or so, and they
Wow.
just spring right back. In fact, there's this whole double back that happens when you're doing a reasonable amount of this kind of what is it, fasting, if you will. And so it'll actually it'll double up on the weight on the rebound kind of thing. And by double up, I'm not sure exactly it was double, but it will come back, and it'll come back in mass. So that's the thing that happens. So even if you forgot to feed your little fishies for a little while, they'll come back.
Yeah, they will. ZX9R has a question. What size is the book in memory? Because he's curious if
Yep.
his computer will be able to handle it.
Oh, don't worry, it ain't too bad. We're at just under 140 megs, so I think actually the file's somewhere closer to 136 megabytes. So not too bad for you, but for me, when I was throwing 12 different copies into my drive to transfer them between my PC and my phone, oh man, did that fill up real quick.
I bet.
Yeah. We got some more questions here on the tanks with sand and plants, tiny castle and stuff, and not make the tank sick, or is it plants only? Well, really depends on what your castle's made of and how much surface area it's going to take up. Because if you got one of those big ones that's going to cover the whole surface area, well, that's less plants, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
And then also if you're using something that I don't know has been painted with some non-safe paints and stuff that might leach out, or plastic or something, that might not be any good. But yeah, I guess it depends on what it looks like. If you want, hop on over to the shoal, give us an ask, say, hey, does this castle look good for my aquarium? We'll solve it.
Definitely.
Victor says, does the book have vocabulary explanation?
Oh boy, does it ever. Let's go on down to the glossary. I typed it up myself. I actually just already had a vocabulary list that I was working with for my classes, and so a lot of that is some of that. And
Hey,
then
that
of course
works.
we added in a bunch of fish terms and stuff too. So if you wanted to know everything there is, there you go. We pulled in boatloads of vocabulary words, so you can make little flashcards out of them if you wanted. Um, all sorts of things. Plus, in the text, we do our best to go and establish what that thing is in context. So if you get to some of the later sections, though, it's kind of assuming already that you might have already seen this previous thing. Either that, or we put a link back to that section. So it's like, hey, yeah, humic substances, as mentioned in the water chapter, and it's got boom link, and that goes straight to the humic section of the water chapter, and then you can bounce back when you need to.
So what's in the water chapter?
Oh boy, that's the most technical chapter, if you will. That's where we get into all sorts of chemistry and such. And so a lot of that is Maev's stuff. Like for instance, we could talk about dissolved oxygen. Went and pulled some data from Wetzel here, one of the more famous folks out there. And for instance, if you didn't know, as I tell my students all the time, as the water gets hotter, the oxygen gets notter. So got fun tips like that.
Hey, that's awesome.
And then we got all sorts of other things like nitrates. Oh man, the nitrates one. That's been a back and forth all over the place, right? Um, I'll give you one little tidbit. Let me just get over to my graphic here. I went and I made a lovely little graphic to explain why it is that some of the nitrate stuff that you're seeing in, I think my wife just came home, so you might hear the child and the wife in the background, and the dogs. But one of the things that you got to get through if you're going to be reading some of these research papers, the scientists, when they're doing their nitrate readings, there's two different factors by which they'll measure. The first one is this whole nitrate nitrogen thing, and so they're measuring just the nitrogen in the nitrate and inferring how much there is by that. And so I've got that as like a little mass breakdown here. And so again, this is where like we get into science land. Now, if you remember your high school chemistry course fairly well, you'll know that each of these things has an atomic mass. And so I've broken that down, and hopefully a nice little handy graphic here. Made a nice little table with it too, with some examples. And whereas our hobby kits are measuring the actual nitrate itself. So we get two different numbers that are not the same. There's a conversion factor between the two of them, which we've provided right there too, if you wanted to convert between the two. So if you get some academic source that says, hey, we found that this nitrate nitrogen level was bad for fish, well, you've got to convert that if you want to see what it would be in your actual like little hobby kit test strip thing.
Well, and it actually explains exactly how you do this.
Yeah, and we got our sources there for where these numbers come from and such.
That is really cool.
Yeah.
Another way to say this is that this contains more than you will ever want to know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because I mean, there are plenty of folks out there. Some of our friendly YouTube channels and stuff, and I saw that as a big point. Like, hey, you're citing these things, but they're not the same things. So
Right.
like here's what we're talking about.
Yeah, this was an area of the book I I tried to get in on and make some comments, and I got gently nudged out of the way.
Oh no.
Oh, which one was it?
Nitrates.
Nitrates? Okay.
Yeah, it was yeah, ammonia to nitrate and nitrate.
Yeah, and we talk about the whole nitrogen cycle. I went and I made some diagrams and such for that. And there's plenty of questions, Q&As embedded in there as well as far as the nitrogen cycle stuff goes. Yeah, like here we are about the bacteria in a bottle thing that comes along all the time. Talks about a whole bunch more on nitrates. We can get into things like why they're not an issue for planted tanks.
Let's see. Maeve said, what Ryan is discussing generally leads to many hobbyists overestimating the toxicity of nitrate by 4.4 times on the basis of reading studies and misunderstanding the numbers discussed.
Yep, and there it is, that conversion right there on the bottom of the graphic there. You got to multiply by 4.4268, and there's a whole bunch of other numbers, but we cut it there. Why are stem plants so important at the beginning of a new tank? Ah, this is why.
Yeah.
Because they're the ones that are going to be doing all this work. There's a whole
I'll
bunch
be
of
right
plants
back.
that. Yep. There's a whole bunch of plants that, not only just themselves, but the bacteria and the archaea and the fungi and everything that they bring with them are going to help with all of these processes. In fact, there's a whole plants section that just goes in depth on all of the stuff that is going on with your plants. Because, while you see the plant, there's a whole team coming along with it. And yeah, our stem plants, they're really doing the work of pulling out all of these things before they hit those toxic levels. In
I
fact,
yeah,
yeah.
had a woman come in today, and she said, "When can I put fish in my tank? Should I wait a month?" And I said, "You put them in the day after you put plants in, because the plants reduce toxicity to a level where it's not an issue if you have enough plants in the tank." She had a 10-gallon tank, and I sold her one package of stem plants, which is certainly more than enough to do the job.
Yeah, I got somebody talking about my arch nemesis, the assassin snails here. I guess this is where we get into story time. In fact, I actually wrote the story in here somewhere. But yeah, oh man, assassin snails. So let me tell you about those assassin snails. They're a pest. I do not like my assassin snails. I had a wonderful tank. My wonderful tank was set up originally as a wall stad before I found Father Fish's channel here. And I had just shrimp and snails in there. And it was a lovely thing. The lovely little ram's horn snails, they went everywhere. There was a couple of mystery snails. And then it got to a point where I was overfeeding the tank, because again, didn't know any better. And also probably had too much light on the thing. But the snails were having a great time. There was boatloads of them. And it was the point where I would take handfuls of them out and end up giving them away and things like that. And then I ran out of, people to give them away to. And so I was like, okay, I gotta deal with this snail problem. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? Go and research all these silly things on silly places, like, oh, I need assassin snails. Great. So I go down to the local fish shop, pick up some assassin snails. And okay, there's nothing happening. Okay, well, I need more assassin snails. I go get more assassin snails. You see where this is going. So yeah, ends up they do their work. It's a little bit slow, and then they started breeding all over the place. So you know what I have now? I have 40 assassin snails living in their own little 10-gallon tank with no other snails in it, and I have to clean the sides of the tank at least every other week or so because there's nothing to eat that algae. And so that's why I do not like assassin snails. Because just leave your little pretty ram's horns, your neorites, your mysteries, whatever. They're gonna clean the tank sides. I don't clean this tank right here. This tank, it just cleans itself. My whole little team is going. So
Yeah, same here.
I don't appreciate the assassins at all.
I managed to get one as a rescue. I did not know what it was. I was new to fish keeping. I figured out what it was pretty quick, thanks to the shoal.
Yeah, sometimes you go in and you start swinging the hammer and you don't know where you were actually supposed to hit.
Right?
Yeah, which is again some of the wisdom that's imparted in the book here. It's like, hey, look, some things just take time. Sometimes you don't need to come in with a truckload of stuff like, oh man, I got an algae problem, and then you go and you buy like, I don't know, 10 auto sinkless because you heard that auto sinkless are great. Oh yeah, that's cool for about a minute, and then all the auto sinkless have eaten everything and they're starving to death. Like, don't do it.
Yeah.
Right.
Ram's horn snails just seem to be the easiest fix for algae. Ever since I started keeping them, I haven't had a problem with any algae on the side of the tank at all.
Yeah.
What you don't want to do is get that confused with the spixie snail.
Mm-hmm.
If you like ram's horn, you're going to love spixie because it looks just like a ram horn, but it's 10 times bigger.
Oh, wow.
It's the size of a silver dollar. It's a huge thing with a whorl pattern. And it will eat every plant in the tank down to and including the roots.
Oh, no. It'll eat the roots? That's insane.
It will dig into the dirt to get the root.
Yeah, I definitely don't want one of those.
You don't want a spixie. I had a guy give them to me once before I knew where they were. He said, "Oh, you're going to love this." And he knew what he was doing.
Oh, no.
Because he had a good laugh on me later on about it. Jacob is here. Jacob's going to want to say something about this. What do you got to say for yourself, Jacob?
Oh, I just got back. I was at a Thanksgiving meal. I did not know what was going on.
We're talking about the book. Have you seen the book yet?
No, but I talked to NC about it, and because he had posted something about it, and he said I can only get it digitally at the moment because I really would love to get a copy of that, hands-on, like the physical copy.
You're not going to enjoy the physical copy. You will love the e-copy because it'll allow you to use it as a tool to do research. You need to get it. We're not going to do a physical copy for a long time.
Okay. How much is your e-copy?
$29.95
How do I purchase that?
on Shopify
I've got a link in the chat.
on their store right there.
Okay, because I'll definitely, I need to purchase that.
You're going to love it, Jacob. Good to
Well,
see you.
Everything, I believe everything that you published in this book is everything that you've put out in videos, but explained it more in detail in this.
Oh, there's a lot more than that in there. A whole lot more.
Yeah, it's a complete guide.
This is way beyond Father Fish.
I know this is, I'm just so, I mean, I'm literally amazed. Like, this is like, everybody keeps asking me how I'm keeping temperature at 85, 86 degrees. And I just keep a stable temperature at 84, 85. And
well, that's where nature keeps it. Below, below Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm just flipping through some of the folks who wrote about their tanks and such, and of course we got Patrick's here. One of the inspirations for the cover photo. In fact, I forget which one it is. Oh, there it is. This one, of course. It says this one. So yeah. Yeah, and there's his buddies, Anthony's. But yeah, I love this because my brother-in-law, he's got a 275 gallon that he wants to convert from saltwater to freshwater, and he's like, "Hey, what can I do with it?" And I
Nice.
was like, "Well, let me tell you here, bro." And I pulled up this section and just let him go at it on my phone so he could take a look and see all the different ways that people can put these natural tanks together.
That's awesome.
Brenda's here. Hey, Brenda.
Hey,
David Anati. My tank is over a year old. No other plant slabs. Substrate is pretty much pond mud. I would redo the tank, but the rummies are doing well. Just put some sand on it, David. Put some sand on it.
Oh, that reminds me of the lovely gift that that I made. I made a gif of Father Fish just pushing his little dump truck around. More sand. I gotta
oh, yeah, I
repost
remember
that in the
seeing
shoal
that.
sometime. Yeah. There was also another one that he thought was a little bit too raw, but had a lot more sand.
Remember, Lee did a sand cap, a baseball cap that was dipped in, dipped. He had put glue all over it and dipped it in sand.
There
That's
we go.
funny.
Then we had the
Sand
sand bell. We had the sand. Remember the sand bell?
That bell is
Uh,
really cool.
oh, we've even got some featured aquariums here that have been running for a real long time. Got a write up from Father Fish here on his own aquarium. Got some other folks, like
Yeah,
one
a
of our
couple that
friends,
are
James
older
Knock
than
here.
they're older than mine by a bit.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
So
beautiful.
Abadu is saying, Sidious, what do you plan on doing now that the book is
Oh
finished?
gosh,
Another.
another one. Yeah, if we're up to Tommy, that might be a thing. No, me, I've still got to handle a whole bunch of stuff on the back end, I'm sure. Like yeah, we've already got one person's name who I need to correct. It's funny, I got it correct throughout the entire book. Sorry, Chris. Got it correct throughout the entire book, and then come down to the acknowledgement section. Somehow an N snuck in there, fat fingered or something. I don't know.
Typo.
Yeah, tiny
Or
little things.
typo when it's somebody's name.
Yeah, got it correct the whole thing. But yeah, so we'll be pushing that out eventually here. And then
I've been trying to get these guys to finish because there's so many other projects I want to get into. And we can't do because this has been, frankly, in the way. So,
yeah, unfortunately, yeah, there's a whole lot of talent that's just wrapped up in it.
oh, there is. It's amazing.
Somehow got the newsletter out here too.
They did. That's amazing too.
Yeah, if you don't mind linking that there, Dina.
Yeah, let me run grab the newsletter real
Yeah,
quick.
you got the newsletter up. That just came out today.
Yeah.
Yep.
I already got it up on Shopify. I'm gonna throw the link into the chat.
Yeah, basically newsletter details a little bit about the writing of the book, a little more like behind the scenes details, like about how it's 500 plus pages on the document. We're
Right.
talking an 8.5 by 11 with 12-point font. In fact, before we threw in the images, it was like 260 some pages of just raw info there.
How many plates do you think? Actually, the pictures are not, they're not full page plates, are they?
They're a specific size, and when it comes to the device, they stretch to the device kind of thing.
Oh,
So on this particular reader that I have right now, this is just the way they're being displayed. I might be able to manipulate it a little bit differently on here to get them to be a different size. But
so how would you do that in the book format?
so in the book format, they're actually sized out to be the right format for us to do a particular page style of the book, to where we can have like picture in the corner and writing around it, or vice versa, or full page spread kind of thing. Because we
Yeah.
looked into a lot of that while we were doing this, like what's our best format going to be. But yeah, that's just another thing that was going on in the background there.
Yeah, I think part of the issue for me is you guys have done so much work on this that I was talking with the publisher and they said you've done all the editing. That makes it really simple for us. That's
Hey,
what
that's good news.
Yeah.
that's what editors do. I mean, that's
Yeah.
what publishers do. They edit the text, and you've done all of that.
Yeah, and again, big shout out to Deborah and Felicia on that front. I know Felicia didn't have as much time as she wanted to with it, because we kind of pushed it out last minute, because this process has been taking a lot of time. Simply because, yeah, we're trying to get readability, and then after that, you gotta get all the little, commas and spacing and everything correct, and yeah, it's that's a thing. And I can't even read the thing anymore, because I've looked at it 20 million times in 20 million different ways, to the point where, like, I'm actually fairly decent at looking this stuff over, but yeah.
Well, I've not been able to read it because every time I get into it, by the time I hit page 3, I'm rewriting it.
Yeah, that's the other thing too. I know that Deborah, she just kept doing that too. She's like, "Oh, I need to redo this. I need to read." No, you've already been over that section twice. Like, come on, just let it go. Uh, and then of course I got my daughter singing in my head her terrible version of um, lovely Disney princess right there. Let it go, let it go. Oh, we can do voices too if you want Disney stuff. Oh boy, everybody, let's read the book today.
Okay, that was good.
In fact, that's the reason why my Ev's not on voice at all, because she's super Scottish, and if you guys have ever heard that movie Brave, there, you can barely understand what the characters are saying. Yep, that's how it is.
Right.
Scottish.
She'd be more than welcome to come on. That would be awesome.
I'm
Get
just
her
jabbing
impression.
at her. My Ev's great.
Yes, she is.
And then, and if you want to talk voices and stuff too, I guess we got to throw Patrick in there. The guy's an Englishman, but you can't understand his English. I'm usually interpreting for the Austrian guy that's usually in the chat too.
Right.
Oh, the Queen's English. Much love to all these guys. I'm only jabbing them because they know. Hey, we could do an audiobook with me reading it like Shrek too. That could be a thing.
Okay, that would be funny.
Yeah, there was some discussion about that. That would be hardly worth doing.
Oh, you know what? That's another great feature about some of these e-readers, is that some of them have built-in audio reading
Oh,
capabilities now.
really?
Yeah, you can set it up and it'll read it. I don't know, which one's going to sound the best necessarily, because some are better than others, but yeah, it's the
Do
possibility.
you know that Google is now rolling out voiceover in about 10 different languages?
Wow.
Which is really remarkable because we've been buying that as text up to this point, but they're going to actually do it as a voiceover in Pakistani and English and Spanish and Indian and Korean, Japanese, a whole mess of languages.
That's going to be exciting.
Well, I'm excited about it because I've been trying to break into India, for example, and finally we're going to be able to do it. we'll be able to get it in Hindustan.
That's gonna be cool.
Hey, we got a good question in the chat here. What are my favorite fish?
That's a good question.
Yeah, well, as I wrote down in my author section, forget the fish, man. It's all about the shrimp and the snails. Because let me tell you about my fishy stories here. So, I've started off with live breeders, um, live bearers, and it's simply because I've got super hard water here. Like it's pretty darn hard. I can look at the crustiness in some of the places around the corners of the tank kind of deal. And so it's just best fit. Plus they're easy to breed and stuff. So I went out of my way and got I got these Heterandria formosa, which you've heard Father Fish go on about plenty of times here. Um, and I put them in my lovely little tank with my lovely little shrimp and my lovely little snails. And those darn Heterandria, they're jerks. They went around
Yep.
and they were biting the eye stalks off of all my little snails to the point where they didn't even put their eye stalks out anymore. They just, they just scoot around blindly or whatever it is they're doing there. They were still carrying on, but yeah, it was not a happy time for them. And then all the lovely little cyclops and copepods and amphipods and everything else that was in there that was floating around, you saw none of it anymore. It was just gone because those little Heterandria just poked around into every little corner, just picking them all off.
Wow.
Yeah. So they're a bunch of jerks. Forget the fish. Just do shrimp and snails, guys. Come on, what are you doing here?
Somebody explain to me what Mary Oliver is talking about at 7:12.
Let's see.
It starts, I think, fish are dogs.
I think I get what they're on. I think they're training their fish there. So you gotta keep them in line like a dog, Put them on that leash. Make sure they're not going off the trail.
Have to scold.
Oh man, my brother back in the day when we had a tank when I was a kid, he used to reach in and pet the fish.
All right.
I got a request on what is it, snails here? Or shrimp. Shrimp, yeah, we've got shrimp and snails. They've got their own little deal here. Basically goes on about how shrimp are probably some of the better tank cleaners along with your snails. And you keep everything nice and happy in there. I don't know if we get too incredibly detailed on them, but we definitely got some wonderful pictures and stuff of them. Because again, it's not really a book necessarily about like, hey, this species, that species, whatever. It's more like, what is the aquarium as a whole doing?
Right.
Ooh, and yeah, we should have NC up. NC's had a copy and is definitely mentioned in the copy here. Is NC waiting on the deck there?
No.
Yeah, I don't see him up yet.
Okay.
He was up before we got started.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love to hear more input from folks that have had a flip through.
Yeah, I was hoping to get Adam up because he apparently didn't hang around. Because he had he got the book right. When did it come out? Was it Friday or Saturday?
Friday.
Friday.
Friday. He got it right after it hit, like within an hour. He's one of the first to buy it. And I had a chance to talk with him about it. He had some interesting insight. And apparently he's not. I should call him and see if he'll get back on.
Hey, that works.
I happen to have him on speed dial. Let me get Arm Brewster up. Right there.
Oh, and I've got 3 tanks I'm running at school while we're waiting on the call here.
Huh, that is.
And they're
really...
all fun. Like the interesting thing is that you could take like the same plants, put them in a tank, and use like the same type of substrate and everything like that. Every single one of them ends up a little bit different.
Well, I was trying to get to live.
Oh,
Get,
there's the
get back.
daughter in the background.
We want to chat with you about your.
She sounds adorable. So
Public aquariums. You know what, Victor? My favorite one, and it's funny because it's not really an aquarium. It's the Natural History Museum. They have this amazing tank there that um, my daughter really wants to join in.
Well,
It's like probably 100+ gallons. Yes, hello, girly. It's
hi
100+
there.
gallons,
hi.
and this thing is chock full of plants. And I don't even think they have fish in the thing. Instead, they've got a bunch of aquatic insects and stuff in there, like diving beetles. It's just awesome
Oh
seeing little
wow.
diving beetles with their
Yeah.
little, bubbles attached to their butt for breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if I had the ability, I'd go and I'd set one of those up because ultimately I'm an invertebrate guy. I mean, before all this, I was keeping
Right.
um, Madagascar hissing cockroaches, which still live in a cabinet over at school because my wife can't stand them. I've got isopods and stuff like that, even nice little orange ones. Orange is kind of my thing.
Ooh,
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
cherry isopods.
I've never seen those. I've got to look those
Oh
up.
man,
There were some
isopods.
pretty rare isopods.
They are insane right now. There are some websites that will sell you like 10 little isopods for like $300 because the
Whoa.
market is hot on that. And there's some of them that are easy to keep because you just gotta throw in some leaf litter and stuff. Hey, just like the aquariums, and keep it a little bit moist. But for some of them, there's little intricacies that go on to it. But yeah, number one that everybody's after is the rubber ducky isopod. Those are fun.
Yeah. I've seen those. Those are adorable until I saw the price tag. Then I'm like, oh no, my husband will
Yeah.
kill me. No.
hmm Yeah, you got it. Yeah, I think I paid $50 at the time for my little uh, starter colony of orange ones.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually I'll get a paludarium set up. The last time I set it up though, it was nothing but mold, so I had to dry it out.
Yeah, I've been looking to get some terrariums going. I haven't done it yet. I haven't figured out the format I want yet. But I want to do a bunch of them. Are apple snails safe for a planted tank? Absolutely not.
Mm-mm.
Specifically the channeled apple snail. They have that as an invasive around here in all of our reservoirs. Makes
Right.
these lovely little pink bubblegum blobs of eggs on tree sides and stuff. Do not make the mistake of collecting one of those.
Good to know.
They're bad as asphyxia.
Mm. And I think when I first started fish keeping, I had the opportunity to buy one of those and almost did. Glad I
Yeah,
did.
I remember collecting them wild in Florida
Mm-hmm.
in a ditch canal, and I got a bucket full of them, and never a few went in a tank for about a day, and I was past them.
I don't blame you.
Let's see, I got to take a break here a second.
Okay. We got you covered. And NC said that he'll come up. It's just going to take him a minute. There he is. Let's see. Hey, NC, how's it going?
Hi, good.
So, what's your experience with the book? You enjoying the book?
So before I talk about the book, I've seen some new faces in the chat and on the live stream. I am NC from NC Pleco Cavers, and this is my fish room.
Oh,
Yes.
Dina, I don't know if you have control of it, but you could drop off the book one here. We got NC on. Take a look at
Yeah.
that beautiful tank. There we
See
go.
if I can get it where it's just NC. Nope, it's me for a second. So let me go this way. There we go. Got it. Go ahead, NC.
But yeah, as I was talking about the book, I really enjoyed it. I read a few of them, a few of the sections, and I feel like it's really well detailed. And I like it's like an encyclopedia where I get to see all the plants and like the beginner level and stuff like that. Who wrote that? The plant section.
Oh geez, that's the thing. We got multiple authors in there. Parts of it are myself. We got some things from Maev, some from Tommy. So
Because whoever that is did an awesome job. I love that.
well, thank you.
Glad to hear it.
And another update, we have some microworm cultures.
Oh, nice.
So I'm gonna try and get these guys breeding by feeding them the cultures.
Make
It's
sure every 3 weeks that you restart the culture. Don't
Yep,
do like me and forget it.
It's been up for like 3 weeks now.
Mhm.
Like I reset the tank a few times because it like just didn't look good, and then this. Remember the Pleco story I told you guys? Soil
Oh,
came
yeah.
up, destroyed the whole thing. So yeah,
Mm.
but now it's back up. We're gonna have a food culture going. Babies are doing good.
Oh wow. Which babies are those from?
Bristlenose placostibus. Here's the dad.
Okay. Yeah, that's a nice color.
I put him in here because I was doing a deep clean on this one.
Yeah, those are some beautiful fish.
He's showing off all his babies, is he?
Uh-huh. Yep, he's showing off the babies.
I really
Multiple-
enjoyed the book.
Thank you.
I really did. I would tell you this. The book literally kicked every single book out of the park. Because it's so well detailed. The pictures are awesome. I saw some of your pictures, Dina, and those are awesome. It's just awesome. The end.
Oh, thanks. I didn't know my pictures was in there. I'm still working on reading it.
Yeah, they are. There's some of your stem plant pictures from your stem
Oh,
plant.
cool.
I think we'll have to slap that as a sticker on the front of the book if it goes physical at any time.
Really?
It's awesome.
That'll work.
And then we'll put from NC Pleco Cavers done.
You're right.
Yeah.
Award for the best book.
There we go. Pulitzer prizes for everyone.
Look at that. Look at that.
They're so
Oh,
cute.
I am so impressed.
I counted like 40 of them, I think.
Oh.
Last time I checked.
Ah, amazing.
And if you guys are wondering how old I am 14.
Right.
Oh.
Not 9. I am definitely not 9.
Not nine. I was teasing him the other day about
Have you seen my microworm cultures, Father Fish?
No, show me.
I just got these today, and I watched your video
Oh,
about them.
really? Wow.
You said to put the yeast and stuff like that, and then
Right.
take your hand and go around it and just
Right.
dip it in the water.
Now watch my video about microworm culture. I've got them in a quart container with the media 6 inches deep,
Okay.
and they last forever.
So you don't have to change it?
You know, right? You don't have to change it. These you'll have to change in a matter of 2 weeks.
Because I've watched a lot of videos. The
But
YouTubers
they're
are like,
wonderful. They're perfect food. Wonderful food. You just have to keep up with it.
and I used to have Daphnia in here, but it disappeared somehow. I don't know.
Imagine that.
Oh, there's still a few in there.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
There's a couple in there.
sure enough. Yeah, see them. Right. Billy Lee is here. Let's say hi to Billy Lee.
See, guys, love y'all.
See?
Bye-bye.
Love those goodads you got there.
They're nice, aren't they?
Yeah.
Billy Lee,
Hello, Father Fish.
how are you? Nice to see you, Billy. I got your video. I got your video online. I've made it available to all of the members.
Remember, Father Fish, I was telling you, like at the beginning of every month, I put in those traps, those planaria trap things.
Oh yeah.
So it's the first of the month, so I put some in there, and then I drug some up here close to the front to see if we could see some of my microfauna on there. Those red worms are the bait,
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't know if I can.
Very cool.
That is. I think he froze.
Did we lose him?
Yeah, I believe so.
Oh, there he is.
I'm still here.
Yeah.
I can hear you guys.
Awesome. Yeah, you froze on us for a second.
Oh, so I'm back on now.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, like here's a slow moving one. I don't know if that's probably not a planaria. I don't see the triangle on the head. Do you? Oh, it might be.
No. Oh, not.
What if we make it full screen?
Esther, I know I've seen some in here today. That's the cap of the. See all those little tiny threads? Those are little harmless worms.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Those
they're
don't.
detritus worms. Yeah.
And then you can see some of the water fleas moving around.
Yeah, I do.
And then yeah, those red ones are the bait. But I know if I come across here, one or two.
That's a really interesting little trap.
This trap on the end, the over here, let's see, the cap of it came off, and I was that's the first time that's ever happened. But if you let those bait worms rot in there, that's probably going to cause ammonia, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So okay, now
Here's a bunch.
Mm-hmm.
to
Wow.
worry about is the triangle head, because
Right.
those triangle heads are the ones that was crawling up underneath the skin of my mystery snails.
Yeah.
And I'm down to one mystery snail left.
Wow.
I just lost the other one. And here you can see into, it's not getting real clear, but it's not coming through too good on the chat. But yeah, I just have to do this once a month to monitor the situation. And since I don't see them right now, but I've seen quite a few of those triangle heads earlier. And then I'll probably set these traps for a few days just to try to keep the population down.
Right. Pretty cool, Bill.
Triangle head worms, they hurt the shrimp too if you let them get out of control.
Right. Nice.
Yeah, so I'll just do this for another couple of days maybe, and hopefully, I won't have too many. But if I
like it. Thank you, Billy, very much.
Yeah, thank you.
Prodigious, are you here? There he is.
What's up?
There you. Yeah, hi.
I wanted to show you guys my girlfriend.
Hello.
How do you turn this camera? I know. Let's just do it like this.
Yeah,
So,
I was
I
going
wanted
to
to
say
show
she's
you
going
the
to do that.
update. They're actually growing really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Look at the baby tears. Oh no. Okay. Is it okay? Yeah, everything's looking real good. I actually planted my hornwort.
Okay,
I think it's getting
right.
better now.
That's okay.
And then yeah.
It'll grow roots.
Yeah,
Are the roots supposed to be like coming off the side right here?
Yes, they do. That's normal.
Okay.
They come off every node.
Oh, okay. All right. Yeah. Thanks for the plans. Thanks, Christian, again.
Wonderful.
The water. I don't know how to clear it though.
It'll clear out. You have a
Oh.
sponge filter in there?
I have a hang on back. I think I'm gonna switch to a sponge though.
Yeah, put a sponge in. That'll clear it up pretty quick.
Oh, okay. All right.
Nice.
Thanks. But yeah,
Good
I just want to show you guys real quick.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Prodigious.
Thank you. Catch you later.
Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, speaking of those planarias, we've even got them in there too. Got a whole little bit about how big they are, how many eggs if they do it. So a lot of them they just do it by asexual fission, where they just pop into two. There's a lovely little link in there for a particular paper on that.
Nice.
Overview of the life cycles and model species of the genus Dogesia.
Ant Cave is here. Hello, Ant Cave. I think one of my favorite channels is Ant Canada.
Yep. He's definitely got production quality for like a whole narrative story and everything going on there in that channel.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah, I have some of his stuff in the garage. It's a shame that like the only ants I can ever find around here are those invasive Argentine ants, though.
Let's see.
Maeve says that I've got a culture of, I'm going to butcher this word, sorry guys, Dougestians in one of my tanks. I'm trying to get a handle on breeding. They often are mistaken for planaria, but I find them very useful little scavengers.
Yeah, and that's the miracle of life there. They're everywhere.
What are we doing here?
Pavement ants. Oh, those tiny little guys. Microsorium or something like that, if I remember. It had an ant phase.
Sugar ants. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
sugar ants.
Set up a whole bunch of little ant colonies only to have them go and escape because they weren't for such small ants.
Yeah, that was safe, that's for sure.
Make a colony and a thimble. God's Enigma, new aquarium keeper here. Just got my first tank. I'm 51. So glad I found you. Thank you for sharing your knowledge. It's reading that every day from somebody new every day. That is really, I think, what keeps me going.
That's it.
And since some people were mentioning it, yes, that's my daughter and the lovely little green screen in the background here. She's the reason for everything. Setting up a legacy.
How old is she?
She just turned 3 back in October here.
Oh my.
So yeah, she's not as interested with the fish. She wants to feed them, so that's a thing.
Right.
But sometimes not the things that are food. But we're getting there. It's also the reason why I don't have a large tank. For some reason, my wife is scared of a large tank coming down on her, and I'm like, do you know how much a large tank exerts on the floor?
Okay.
And not sideways.
Yes, who's here?
Adam.
Adam is here.
Hey, there we go.
There he is.
And that beautiful
Hi,
tank in
Adam.
the book too.
God bless America.
Amen to that. Thank you for coming up.
Happy to be welcome anywhere.
We,
You're always welcome here, Adam.
amen to that. We chatted on Friday. You had just gotten the book. Have you gotten into it any more since then?
I've been, intentionally saving it for my Christmas read.
Oh.
Through it slowly, but I really like the kind of the Q&A, like encyclopedia, like you guys were mentioning earlier. I saw part of it about kind of like sourcing information one piece at a time, I think you were saying, Ryan. And that's kind of how it hit me. Like, I can use this as a resource. I can read it for fun, or I can use it as a resource topic by topic. And I really like that because you tend to want to know about one little thing at a time, right?
Right.
Exactly.
That's what hit me. So I'm gonna keep it on my big screen and start picking through it, as I get around the holidays, and then get some more downtime to read. But yeah, I'm really digging it, man. I'm back in the hobby, after a 40-year absence. So it's fun to learn the right way and learn from you guys.
Always glad to hear that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we got something.
Oh, it's cool. It's information that you can't get anywhere else, right? I mean, it's unique.
That's so true.
I think you guys could roll out chapter by chapter and make us smarter and smarter. I mean, that's what's happening to me anyhow. I'm really learning from you guys.
Yeah, that's something that Tommy really wants to do. He wants FF here to just go through each chapter and like, hey, we got a new vid today, and here's all the stuff that's right behind what it is that I've been talking about this whole time.
Yeah, I think I want to do it as a like a Patreon class structure. Have a weekly class or something, twice a week, something.
Oh boy, am I gonna have to write curriculum for you?
No, I think we got it. I think the book is the curriculum. But then, well, I will need it broken down, won't I?
'Cause I'll tell you, that's one of the things that the only things that I'll outsource to AI right now is, oh my gosh, if I have to write a lesson plan, no. Lesson plan's going straight to Chat GPT. Here we go.
Yeah, AI is.
It's amazing and it's scary at the same time. My kids are using it way too much, and it is such a pain.
Can you always tell?
Yeah, you can. You can tell when it's AI imagery or, yeah.
Yeah, but it's going to get harder. They've already
Speaking of, I really like the pictures in the book too. I should have mentioned that too. Because when you read it, you're visualizing it as you're reading it, but then when you have a picture there, it kind of rounds out the thought. I meant to mention that earlier. I like the pics.
Yeah, we got like the best photographer, man, Patrick. He just went nuts on taking all sorts of pictures from his tanks, nature, you name it. I didn't even have to put filters on it.
Yeah, like examples of things, like a topic is like, whatever, soil or, different conditions, things like that. And to have a picture, because when you go into Google Images and you try to find stuff, it's sometimes you get more confused than when you started.
Isn't that the truth?
Right. Like too much information, not enough knowledge, information. But that's it's really cool. I will tell you that one day, if that happens, I would love a hard copy too, just to have in my office.
Oh, absolutely.
You know what I mean? But I know there'll be a while. But ebooks are great. It's the ability to just dig in and find it really quickly is awesome.
Yeah, it's nice to be able to have it in your phone while you're out looking for leaves, and then you can just click and identify what leaf it is. I mean, that's pretty awesome without having to carry around the huge book, because that book's probably going to be what, that thick, guys? It's going to be huge.
Right.
He's got a copy there.
Right.
Yeah, it's terrific. It's really a big moment for you guys. Congratulations, by the way. I should have said that first. I mean, that's quite an undertaking. I wrote a 60-page book for my business, and it took me 2 years, and it was miserable. So the fact that you pulled this off with that much content is mind-blowing.
It is
amazing.
People think writing a book is fun. I don't know what they think.
Yeah, fun. That's not the word.
It isn't.
I really, if you had to nail me down as to why they did it, I can't even begin to get.
Insanity, just pure insanity. It's like I wrote down.
I'm in awe, frankly.
Yeah.
There was so many times. Oh, by the way, thank you, Adam, for your picture and your contribution. I love that you were able to put all of your details and stuff down. We have it in the appendix, guys, if you want to check out the details on his tank, which you're seeing right now as well.
You got to represent those cylinder people. There aren't many of us.
Absolutely.
Really.
I always feel like the odd man out.
Don't worry, you won't be for too much longer. I found a 20-gallon cylinder. I just got to clean up.
Oh, there you go. Join the club. Join the club. It's a lot of fun until it's time to reach to the bottom, and it's a 3-foot reach.
They're better than octagons. I had a 5-foot one at one point.
Yeah, this thing's about 6 feet tall, end to end. Yeah, the whole thing.
Right. I like it. I think it's cool.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Listen, I read that angelfish like to go up and down, so I thought, well, that's a good tank then.
There you go.
Yeah, but it's a big moment with this book. Congratulations again, and I wish you 1 million copies. And I wish you recovery, because I know that's involved when you write something that big. But it's fantastic. It's really fantastic. It's kind of the culmination of a big career here. I mean, you have like 270,000 people following you, and to take the time to do that, that's just going to add to it.
Yeah, thousands of hours, never get back.
Hey,
I could have been so much more rich in the MMORPG I've been playing.
true.
What are you playing?
Yeah, but it's really going to separate if you think about it, it's kind of game changing, right? Because this is a forum that I stumbled over 6 months ago and have learned so much. And what's the alternative, right? Go on Google, try to find information, stumble into your pet store, try to figure out what you're doing. I mean, the fact that you did this is going to create it's kind of defining, It's pretty damn cool. I'm looking forward to tearing into this thing. I started digging into the first five. Well, like, oh no, I want to save this. This is too good. So I stopped. Because I want to focus. I want to have downtime and really, really drill into it and not be doing it between meetings and stuff. I want to really really immerse, right? Immerse
Immersion, right? Hold on a minute, Adam. Rashawn Grant is here. Let's see what Rashawn's got to say for himself.
What's up? What's up?
Hey,
That's neat.
Back with a little update.
looking good.
Thank you. Nothing too much crazy has changed, but just so that y'all can see.
How about that? Yeah.
The water section is still.
Need a little sand in that.
All to here is all sand and dirt.
Is that right?
And just
you got that on top of that's cool. Now, what's this? The turtle tank, right?
Now I have 2 fish in here. I think 3 frogs, 2 ant colonies.
Oh, cool. 2 ant colonies. Wow. Pretty impressive.
One more time.
I like it.
Thank you.
It's
I don't know if you
impressive.
guys can see or not, but right behind that rock is a dragonfly nymph, like right there.
That's
Wow.
cool.
Oh
Nice.
shoot! It's actually another one right there too. There's 2 of them up right now.
Look at this.
That is so cool.
Look at this.
Yeah, this is my kind of tank. I'm getting inspired here, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
Here goes a frog right here.
Ah.
I believe this is a spring peeper.
Yep, that's a peeper.
That's a
And
cute
then
little frog.
it's a cricket frog actually behind the rock too, on the other side.
Now, come on.
Oh, there's another frog over here too. Up there in that corner. I don't know if you guys can see or not.
Oh, wow.
Very lucky.
Did you collected them locally, did you?
Yes, sir. Everything in this tank is collected locally.
Where do you live?
I live in Virginia.
Okay. So this is local to me.
Yes.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Awesome. So you got some water beetles in there and stuff.
Aww. They're way cool. Way cool.
Still building up the biodiversity. One day it'll be like my other tank was.
That's it. Wow. There's another chapter, Adam. You see that, Ryan?
Yeah.
Chapter?
Ryan's running through the parking lot right now.
That's a whole chapter.
Yeah, I need to get me some of that going on.
Mercy, mercy. Well, I've been trying to figure out what to do, and you're doing it. So now I know what to do.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to see yours. I know yours is gonna be
I
great.
did not have a, I could not catch a vision of that. But by golly, that's it.
That
Thank
is
See, this makes
thank
me
you.
want to totally redo my 75-gallon turtle tank because the
It
turtles
is,
that I've
yeah,
got love to
right.
be on
Really,
land.
it is so simple and so effective.
Yeah.
It is. It is.
that really
My
is cool.
question is how did we get it where the sand would not just come back down and dump? Is the secret the stones? Because I
I'm
can
sorry.
never
Can you
get
say that one more time?
my sand to stay in one place when I've tried doing this. So I've got to ask:
Um,
is the stones the key
Got
to
the whole
it?
bottom sand.
honestly, I couldn't even tell you. I think because everything, literally everything, is from outside. So I just grabbed like 2 buckets of sand, spread it here, and
Yeah, the
honestly,
whole bottom sand.
it
Yeah.
stayed. It's it like if I move my finger in there and wiggle it around a little bit, it'll come up and then drop right back down.
Looks
I
It
amazing.
love
doesn't
it.
get too cloudy.
I love it.
I
Me
had the
too.
pump off for about 5 days, I think, and the water's still pretty clear.
Brashad, that needs an award.
That it does.
You got an award coming for that one. That's
Thank
way
you.
good.
So
We're
yeah,
gonna
I think this tank.
we're gonna grow on that.
Definitely.
Awesome, awesome.
Wonderful. Thank you. Is that your baby?
Yeah, I got both of them. One hanging onto my leg,
Aw.
and the other one over here.
Hi.
They love coming in here, look at the tank, mess with the lizards and stuff.
Thank you so much. That's just really wonderful. I
No
love it.
problem, no problem. Thank y'all
Come
for
on
letting me.
back. Let's keep looking at this. Come on back.
Yeah, definitely. Hope to see you Wednesday.
Awesome, awesome. I'm back every week. Every
All
week to show you
right.
update.
All right. Bye for now. Thank you, Brashad.
No problem. You have a good one.
You too.
Wow. Very cool.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
That makes my wife's
What I'm
talking
gonna do
about
with that?
getting one of those half aquarium, half terrarium. What are those things
Yeah,
called?
right. Yeah, he's doing it, isn't he? With
Mm-hmm.
a minimum of water. That's the key.
Yeah. It's super cool.
Yeah, it is.
Huh.
Yeah, it's totally mimicking what you'd go out and find out there in the
Yeah,
forest of
exactly.
Virginia. Just
Exactly.
one little puddle of water and everything's living out of it.
Yep.
Didn't I read that somewhere like in they catch betas like in is it Vietnam where they see a ditch and they'll dive in the ditch and they pull out colorful betas? Like in the rainwater ditches. Have you guys read
Oh,
that? Is that true?
and 3-foot snakeheads.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You
That's
see a
part-
lot of videos on YouTube where they actually go out and catch the betta fishes in ditches. It's pretty cool.
It's just the most colorful, beautiful specimens. They're just in a ditch on the side of the road.
Right?
Unbelievable.
It really is.
You guys will have hopefully you'll have a waterfall pond update. We're still working on it. As you guys know, we put it in and we had 2 hurricanes come through.
Yes.
So we got
Yeah.
damage we're fixing. So
Yeah.
it
Looking
delayed it delayed it, but it's really looking great. And I can't wait to get some advice on you guys on
Nice.
the pond itself. So let you know when it happens soon, I hope.
Yeah,
I want to
Look
get
got me a
forward to
little 20-gallon bucket pond going out there.
right.
Let me
And
tell you,
mine-
the sunshine placement is everything.
Mine started as a simple little thing and now is a over the top, ridiculous, grand, expensive project.
Hundreds of gallons.
It's about 1,100 gallon
Oh, geez.
pond and a huge waterfall, and it's way over the top. It's ridiculous, but that's just the way it went. The guy I'm working with thinks like me, and that's dangerous. Yeah, but good being with you guys. Thanks for inviting me up.
Adam, thank you.
All right,
Yes,
cheers,
to have you.
everyone. All right, bye. Congrats
Thanks
again.
for all the praise.
Congrats.
Well, thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, and thank you. I love having all this interaction here, and it's really nice having such a community. If you guys aren't on Discord, hop on. We got all sorts of stuff to share, and well, honestly, most of the staffers probably forgot I existed because for the last year, my free time was not answering questions about what is this thing in my tank, and I'd be like, oh, it's this, after doing an extensive search of whatever. Yeah, so I'll get back into that a little bit more as I get time.
What are we doing here? I think we're down to it.
think so.
Yeah, let's wind it down here. Let me see if I can get my fishies back. Let's see.
And big thanks to all the authors again, even though I was ribbing you a little bit for not coming on. It's part of the toll, the troll toll.
Right. Let's get back in here. Thank you all. Thank you all for coming in.
Thanks for having us.
I don't have any sound on this.
Let me see. There we go.
There
When
it
the
is.
sunlight shines upon them,
Let's do it
I
again.
love my little fishes as they swim about their home.
Oh my.
My little fishes as they swim about their home. When the sunlight shines upon them,
Get over there
their
and buy your
colors
copy.
begin to glow. I
Look, can't hear ya.
am drawn into
Get your
a
copy of the book.
where my heart longs to go.
Thank you, Stan.
I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home. I have traveled the world over, but never found a peace that comes from watching my fishies as they swim about their home. My heart is happy and I am content to sit and watch them swim. I will not be alone while these fishies are in my home. When the sunlight shines upon them and their colors begin to glow, I am drawn into a world where my heart longs to go. I imagine scenes of beauty and feel the warmth of love. I love my little fishes as they swim about their home.